the US tariff that's happening right now.
It is not an option, right? 20 years back, you decided unilaterally that the world should be one place and we should remove all the tariffs and all, right?
Correct.
It was the same Americans who were championing all this, right? So whenever it suits you, you will play football. When it suits you, you'll start playing cricket. What is it? I'm supposed to play catch up with you all the time?
I have a different perspective to this, I feel.
But again, I'm not an economist, but what I understand of it, it is not that simple. What has happened is the American economy lost the plot 20 years back, and they started, the day they delinked the dollar from the gold, the plot was lost, right? What is happening now is that, again, one more thing I'll add here. See, after the World War II, if you look at the three big economies who came up fast, one was Japan, then South Korea and Germany. South Korea, after the 3-year Korean War, from 1950 to 53, the war was fought. Korea was literally bankrupt and poor and nothing was there, right? Americans invested and they used it as a hub and they made it grow.
Welcome to PortCast with Sai. This podcast is all about shipping, logistics, and how the industry works. I am Sai, and I'm here to share insights and stories from the world of shipping.
The US tariff that's happening right now. What's your view on US slapping a big tariff on Indian exports or Indian origin goods that's landing into US?
Okay, fine. Now, let us look at it from a different perspective without the biases and all. If you go back in time, were they not the same people who were talking about globalization, removal of tariff barriers? It's just a matter of 15-20 years back.
Correct.
Same people were talking that we should break all tariff barriers. Goods and services should move smoothly. This will make the world richer place. It will make the world a better place. Don't you see, kind of a double speak in this? 20 years down the line, you are trying, the entire world is running on a nationalistic fervor. Whether it is the Europeans or the Americans or for that matter, and we are also forced to be nationalistic in terms of economic decision. It is not an option, right? 20 years back, you decided unilaterally that the world should be one place and we should remove all the tariffs and all, right?
Correct.
It was the same Americans who were championing all this, right? So whenever it suits you, you will play football. When it suits you, you'll start playing cricket. What is it? I'm supposed to play catch up with you all the time?
I have a different perspective to this, I feel. It's more like a power execution. A person in power want to acquire that status or the superiority status, and they are executing their choices in a perspective where people will... So it's like this, let's go back in times. The strongest hunter back then, I'm talking about the early man stages, the strongest hunter would be the head of the tribe. Why? Because the strongest hunter can feed the people for the next 3 days without others going for the hunt. Then came the industrialization, or actually then came the agriculture. The best agricultural farmer would be the head of that tribe, and he can feed the entire tribe for that particular season itself. And then came the industrialization, communism. What happened? The best industry would feed the entire city.
Yeah.
And it would increase the GDP of that country, right? Right now, it's happening same with the AI also. People are trying to execute their powers everywhere. They're trying to get that status quo. They're trying to get that positioning. They're trying to gain that authority. Why? With that authority, let's again go back in times. The person who used to feed the tribe for 3 days with his hunting skills had more mates.
Some reward is there.
Some reward is there.
Yeah.
The person who used to be feeding the entire tribe for a season again had more mates. Then come to the industrialization, the person who used to feed had more people respecting him. There was more respect. There was more salutes. There were more demands which was met to him. So many things happened to him. Rewards again.
Agreed. I got your point. I wish it was like that. But again, I'm not an economist, but what I understand of it, it is not that simple. What has happened is the American economy lost the plot 20 years back. And they started, the day they delinked the dollar from the gold, the plot was lost, right? Now, what is happening now is that during the COVID period, for the immediate thing, what I can relate to, maybe I'm wrong, but during the COVID period, they did not produce anything as such, right? And they did what we used to do some time back. We used to print more currency and throw in the system. So our inflation used to be in the range of like 15%, 16% inflation. We have seen that, right?
Correct.
So this is what the Americans did. You have printed the note, but you forgot to bring value to it.
Correct.
You are having a debt of $46 trillion. You are not in a position to service your debt. Forget about repayment. We are not even discussing repayment. We are unable to service your $46 trillion debt, right?
Okay.
This is the reality. You don't know what to do. You don't have a solution, right? This is what I see as a layman. I can see the entire American government is totally confused. They don't have a plan. There is nothing that you can sell to China. And the imbalance, they are blaming China. But it was the Americans only who went and invested in China and put those plants, and all the capitalists. The capitalists of the US went to the Chinese and invested there. And you became used to having cheaper goods. Today, whatever they are saying, even if you put those tariffs, even if you put 100%, he says, make America great again. God be with you. We wish that America should be great again, right? But then, manufacturing will not happen today, immediately. Even if you want to install a plant, for the plant, the structures are required. It has to be fabricated, shipped, and it has to be installed. It will take time, boss. The decade didn't happen in one day. It happened over 2 decades.
Exactly.
You cannot turn back the clock of time overnight.
See, the economy of US runs with 60% consumer as a consumer economy. So they can never be a producer just like that, right? 60% consumer. So there's no production at all if you really look at. The most of the production happens outside US, and there was a simple reason. Back then, when they decided that they will not do any kind of blue collar jobs, they wanted to outsource anything that is of simple doing, and they only want to do anything to do with thinking. That's where they started shifting their focus.
Agreed to an extent, but again, if you go back in time, in the year 1930 to 33, the great economic depression of United States happened. The economy collapsed, everything went, entire industry collapsed, everything collapsed. After that depression, after that great economic depression, which is studied and all as a subject. So they came up with the idea that if we have to increase the manufacturing, we need to increase the consumption. That is how the society, which was hitherto a conservative society, just like ours, we as a society are born with the ideas of frugality, right? My father, my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather.
Most of Indians, yeah.
It is handed over in generations, The frugality, and you should not be wasteful. If you need it, you buy it. You need it, you use it. You don't need it, don't buy.
Correct.
To the extent that there are things like wasting of food is the biggest thing, right? Across the cultures,
Right, agreed.
So, and here you have a society which, for the economic interest, has ingrained in the masses, you need to consume so that we can produce more, and the economic cycle can kickstart. When you reach a level, see, capitalism per se, capitalism and nationalism don't go together. They are two different philosophies. Capitalism is all about how money can get more returns. You cannot link that to a nationalistic fervor. No, it doesn't happen like that, right? So what has happened? The capitalistic mindset will always look for avenues where they can optimize, the production, and they can bring down the cost. They can maximize their profits.
Correct.
Right? More the profit, they'll be attracted. They are not interested in what happens to your balance of payments. Correct. Right? Mao Zedong's China and today's China is not the same. And it was made by courtesy of such American capitalists only.
Correct. Right? They wanted cheap labor. They wanted to increase the profit, so they just outsourced it.
Again, one more thing I'll add here. See, after the World War II, if you look at the 3 big economies who came up fast, one was Japan, the biggest powerhouse. Till today, Japan holds the highest amount of treasury bonds of United States. Then South Korea and Germany. South Korea, after the 3-year Korean War from 1950 to 53, the war was fought. Korea was literally bankrupt and poor and nothing was there, right? Americans invested and they used it as a hub and they made it grow. Japanese also, after the war only, they invested and they made it grow, and Japanese took it to their heart and they way ahead, right?
Correct.
Do you know that almost around the same time when the Americans were shifting to China, they realized the Japanese economy had reached American economy level. To maintain the hegemony, they told the Japanese, you restructure, you reduce the production, and you reduce your exports. It is like manipulating somebody else's economy to preserve your economy hegemony. Japan, it worked out. They didn't say, okay, fine, because we have benefited from this, we are doing it also. They agreed to that. And from that moment on, Japan's upward incline stopped. It became a plateau and now it is on a slightly downward. They are very enterprising people. They are excellent people. But their economy is not moving ahead for the last 10 years. And those bases were shifted to
China.
China moved up. Now, the same situation has come when the Chinese economy is at the verge of nearing the American economy and the hegemony seems to be. So the power plays over there. And what happens? How do you expect your balance of payments to improve? There is nothing that the Americans will make with the Chinese wants.
Correct.
Chinese are self-sufficient as a system, as a people, as a civilization.
Right. You name it, they have it.
China and India were front runners for thousands of years. There is very little that you can give to them.
Absolutely. When take it India or China, they are front runners in most of this. But in China, they're front runners in like almost everything,
Yes.
including technology. They are self-sufficient. They don't depend upon YouTube. They don't depend upon WhatsApp. They don't depend upon anything that is manufactured out of China. Any application that you have to use in China has to be made in China. Very simple. Point blank.
Yeah. So, if you ask me what is the root problem, this is the root problem. The balance of payments cannot be resolved. There is no solution to it. There is nothing which the Americans can sell to Chinese. And there is, of late they have started to sell ethane. Ethane out of US into, that's about it all and some little bit. But what has happened, the disbalance is so much. They are trying to make it correct. And the jobs, if you look at the creation of jobs data, this month ka data was very low. So overall the economy, if it has to revive on its own, it should have some job creation, right?
Correct.
Increasing of tariffs, how does it help? Well, I somehow, it foxes me. I don't get it. How will it help? Because now, for example, I was seeing on some YouTube or something like, Senator was asking bananas. Now on bananas, they have decided 10%, 15%, 20%. Thing went on, right? And the argument is that, no, we want it to be made in the USA. Senator asked, can you make banana in the USA? No. You will have to import it. It's a reality of life. You have to accept it.
Correct.
And then what has happened? In the bargain, while this chaos is on, Walmart was the first person to put 8% extra. Because Walmart says, why should I take the risk? We don't know. And today I feel sorry for the customs officials of USA because I wonder how they are calculating. Every second day some new thing is coming up, some new tariff or something else. How will they calculate? What is the reference point? Where is the mark? And how does it help?
People will be confused.
Yeah. And what will happen? Finally, the end user, the what do you call Aam Aadmi of USA?
They are going to be suffering.
Suffer. How does it alleviate their suffering? See, economic growth or decline is a slow process. It cannot be done overnight. And you are punishing everybody, including Brazil. Brazil has a favorable balance of payments with you. You have lost the plot. Brazil imports more from US than it exports to US. So you already have a favorable balance of payments. You should be rewarding them. You have put duty on them also. You lost it somewhere. So, this is going to be, this chaos will be there. And the entire world is in a very difficult phase, And, the way I look at it at a personal level is that the leadership crisis is there. Unfortunately, for the last 15, 20 years, everyone has spent from thin air, Like for money, it has to be, value has to be created. You cannot just print money because
Correct.
you have a printing press. You print it. Unfortunately, everybody has done. See, the printing of currency and infusing in the system works as a temporary opium. It can help reduce your pain for the short term. But the opium cannot cure your disease. It is only on opium. A dose of it can help you reduce the pain, temporary pain, right? So for that matter, you see, even we are also, overly indebted, but we are a big country. Our internal domestic consumption is huge. For us, yes, this tariffs will impact temporarily. See, once you have reached 25% level, people are saying initially it was 25, then he has made 50. We should have agreed for that and all. It should have been better. No. See, because after a point, the thing loses viability.
Correct.
So for Indians, anything above 15-20% is unviable. Whether you make 50 or you make 200 or you make 2000%, we lost it there itself. So the viability gap, whatever was there, and accordingly we have adjusted our currency rates also. Currency also has been devalued. That will also mitigate. So almost around 15 to 20% tak we are okay. But beyond that, whether it is 21% or 21% doesn't make a difference. We have lost interest. And this will backfire big time. This is only creating more instability. This will not help. You have to work at more robust ways of getting back the growth and all. So far your focus was only on the arms, ammunition exports and food grains. US was known for innovation. That's somewhere in between it has been lost. For India, we are worried about the pharmaceutical industry. Without Indian pharma, they cannot work. The normal person in USA cannot buy medicines. It is the pharma of India which is taking care of the majority of the... Let us be honest about it. Let us be grateful. Indian pharma companies are doing a fantastic job. They are able to keep it in, a reachable, reasonable levels.
Correct.
See, whether I am rich or poor, I have right to live. I have right to medicine. It's a basic right. Whichever nationality you are, wherever you are, my right to live cannot be made smaller or bigger. You should not be doing this as a superpower that you claim to be. You should not be doing this to your own people.
Right.
So this is not fair. What they have lost. I just pray to God that they have the good sense. Maybe they will come, because this is not going to work. We all know. If the world knows, it will not work. It's just a matter of...
It's just some intermittent...
Yeah. But yes, at least Americans... see, whatever all said and done, Americans are important to the world economy. And they are a great country. There's no doubt about it. And the American people are enterprising. But thing is that somewhere in between they lost, successive... See, what I strongly am a believer in, is that the normal people on the ground, whether he's in Australia, Japan, India, anywhere on earth or in America, he has the same issues. He has to feed his family, he has to educate his child, he has to take care of himself in his old age. That's all. This does not change
at all.
Right? Rather, what has happened is that, and every local system has its own way of dealing with it. For example, people say in US you have this pensions are there and all that is there. Right? It is not workable. That dole and welfare, what they talk about, right?
Right.
That will work only in a particular situation where the people earning and paying taxes are higher than the people taking this
Correct.
benefits. In India, it cannot work only for 140 crore people. We are 1.4 billion people. We cannot have such a formula. So our society already had the insurance of a family. Father will take care of son, son will take care of father. And this story will continue.
Correct.
Unfortunately, now we are aping the West. That formula will not fit for us.
Correct.
This is where we as a society are going off track. See, it's fine. I'm very much okay with their formula for them. This formula doesn't work for us. It is not for us. There's nothing wrong in it, but it's not meant for me. The consumerism which is being encouraged in our country,
Right now.
Yeah, it is a serious challenge for the entire globe. See, the Western world can say, your quality of life is below ours. Why? Because I have one car per home, per family. You have one car for 100 or maybe 200, whatever people are there, right? Imagine we as Indians, we are 1.4 crore people, if we change one cell phone in every 10 years also.
1.4 billion. So it's like...
Can you imagine what we'll do to this earth? If you start putting TVs in our houses, we had, one family, one TV, concept was there. Family was good. We had family time together. Now we are aping the West. I want my own TV. You want your own TV. We got 3 TVs in the house. Imagine if 1.4 crore Indians, even if 0.0000, whatever zero you want to put, you put 1%, does this. What is the impact?
Huge. there'll be lots of electronic waste that will start generating.
Imagine, and we are telling it is not yet, penetration levels are low and this is low. God, do this maths and check. World will be finished by us only. If you are alone, you can hire somebody. You want a brother, he can, per hourly basis, he can be your brother. You want a father, he can be hourly basis father. I was like, really? And they said, we don't want to get married because we are not sure if we can carry the burden and the aspiration of our lifestyle. We cannot manage that, maintain that.
The female can decide to pass on the gene all by herself without a need of a male. That's what the technology has brought you today.
Yeah.
And the male cannot do that. Even whatever happens, the male cannot pass on a gene without the help of a female.
Yes.
But this is where we are standing right now, where it is slowly coming in like a virus that people are not getting ready to marry. They don't want to cascade their gene to the next level. Meaning they don't want to create the next, or the female is not ready to take the male. The male is not ready to take the female. There's a whole bunch of things that's happening.
Welcome to PortCast with Sai. This podcast is all about shipping, logistics, and how the industry works. I am Sai, and I'm here to share insights and stories from the world of shipping.